Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Holly Gibson, Senior Product Specialist here at UDA Technologies, joined today by my colleague Jordan Davis.
Hello, everyone.
And we are excited to welcome you to today's first look webinar on taking your team's communication to the next level with new Envoy chat channels. Now, if you're new to ConstructionOnline is the leading project management platform for the construction industry, serving over 650,000 construction professionals in over 75 countries all over the world, managing more than $80 billion in projects every single day. We get to work with thousands of you on a weekly basis, and one of the things that we know is project communication and team communication is something that's really important to you. So we're excited to look at how you can take that to the next level with the new chat channels in Envoy Chat, one of the best new communication tools that we've introduced for ConstructionOnline in the last year. Our session today will focus on introducing you to these brand new project channels so that you can keep project-related conversations organized. We'll also take a look at how you can create custom channels to discuss anything else your team needs to be aware of that may not center around a project. We'll take a look at how to use hashtags. So a brand new feature of Envoy Chat is the ability to use hashtags to be able to call attention to a channel from any of the other chats that you may be working with. And then we'll also talk about how you can create private channels for conversations that don't need to involve the whole team, but still do need to be collaborative within ConstructionOnline.
Now, we have a good number of topics to cover today, but I do want to call attention to the questions panel instead of the GoToWebinar panel, which you should be able to see if you take a look at the GoToWebinar interface. Please submit your questions as we work through the topics today. We'd love to answer your questions about Envoy Chat or how to handle and manage communications as we work through our topics today. We'll keep an eye on that as we get started. Now Envoy Chat is one of the newer features that we introduced maybe around the same time last year. Is that right, Holly?
Yeah, that's right. So about this time last year, we were first introducing Envoy Chat, and it has really been popular. Team communication is something that is so important for construction professionals and the people that we work with on a daily basis. What we're really looking to do is make sure that nothing gets missed. We found that so many teams were using a combination of things like just text messages on their phone or emails back and forth, which facilitated the communication in the moment, but really didn't leave a paper trail. There was no record. There was no way to go back and find that information. So we introduced Envoy Chat to much popularity for our ConstructionOnline users. It's something that everyone really loved using. And one of the things that people began to ask is there a way to create conversations, not just within the team, but around specific projects? So that's what we're excited to introduce today. So we'll take a look at our 71st Street project here and head to the communication area, where you will immediately see this brand new project channel where all of that instant communication that's happening on the team will be organized around this specific job.
Yeah, that's right. It functions almost exactly like the direct message Envoy Chat channels that we'd introduced this time last year. Whenever you submit or send a message through Envoy Chat, it instantly appears pretty much wherever someone's accessing ConstructionOnline, whether that's from the web browser, from a tablet on the go, or from the ConstructionOnline mobile app. There's nothing new that anybody needs to learn about how this actually functions. You just type your message and press go or send, and the message will instantly appear across all devices. It's ridiculously fast. It's faster than text messaging. It is absolutely faster. It's light years faster than email. And Holly, to your point, there really is something to be said about collecting all of the communication for a project within the project itself. I think this might have been one of the most requested feature enhancements over the past couple of months. And we're really excited to show off how simple and easy it is to use for teams today. Of course, there's the standard message where you can write out and say exactly what you need to say about the project. You can see here we were really trying to get the word out that, well, something unexpected had happened and we're not going to be able to continue construction tomorrow. Everyone on the team really needs to know this so they can start adapting their plans This is a much faster method of getting that information to the team without relying on them checking or clicking, refresh or reload on their email inbox.
That's right. Now, a few things that are really convenient about these project channels. So it's such a powerful tool for keeping project communications organized. A few things that is helpful for you to know is that we've made it really easy for you to create these project channels. You'll notice if you head to that communication section for any of your projects, this brand new project channel tab will already be there. So there's nothing special that you have to do to create it. If you don't have any messages yet or you've never used the project channel, you'll be given an option to go ahead and activate the channel for that project. Once you do that, you can begin sending messages back and forth, and we can easily see that all of our team members are already added automatically. So any of your company team members who are a part of the project here within your project team are going to be automatically added to this project channel. So there's no extra setup for you to do. Everything is really done for you, and then you guys can just get to work communicating. And people really love it because it's just as easy as sending a text message, but keeping everything so organized and accessible. You can go back and look at these messages anytime, so you can go back to the very beginning of the thread. And you can even come in and maybe look at pinned or starred messages. Some of the things that you can do with Envoy would be, to pin this message perhaps to the top or add a little star for something that you want to be able to reference quickly later. And so you can, of course, filter by those and make some adjustments. But for the most part, your Envoy project channel is not going to require much maintenance from you. All you have to do is really start sending messages and photographs or links or anything else that you want to communicate to the project team. And everyone on the project team is instantly notified and can reply back in real time.
Yeah, and this is a key point. Something that we really focused on for the mobile app especially is making sure that the notifications, not only we're letting people know that there is an Envoy chat message, but they can actually just tap on the notification from wherever they are, whether their phone is locked or something like that, and jump directly to the message thread. This carries through to project channels as well, so you'll actually be able to see on the mobile app or your phone who the message is from, what the channel is, and you'll be able to tap and jump directly into a reply. It's ridiculously fast.
It really is. It's so fast. And, one of those communication goals that companies often have when they're getting started with a project management software is not only better communication, but specifically facilitating better communication between a field team and an office-based team. And especially now with so many people working remotely or working from home, we continue to hear that from so many of you out there who are working from home offices or maybe not in a physical office quite as much. That communication becomes even more important. And it really links everyone on that project team together no matter where they're located. Now, the other thing you want to know about project channels is that they are available within your Envoy chat widget as well. So for those of you who have been using Envoy chat, you know that one of the best things about it is that it really follows you wherever you are working inside ConstructionOnline. I can go to any section of my project here and always have access to this Envoy chat. You'll receive notifications when new messages come in, and the channels are now located just in a little tab right within that chat widget. So you still have your direct private chats one-to-one with different team members that you may be working with, or group chats that you've created, but these new channels will also be available to you within your Envoy chat widget as well, and you'll be able to use them exactly the same way that you've been using this for your individual messages. Notice that as Jordan sent a new message for our project, I immediately received a notification, so I can see there's something that needs my attention here. And unique to Envoy chat as compared to maybe other chat systems or other ways of communicating by text, you can actually send ConstructionOnline schedules or estimates or change orders right within the chat as well, so that the person receiving it can jump straight to that schedule and be able to, look at whatever it is that Jordan's wanting to call my attention to here within the schedule for this project. So again, really fantastic way of using Envoy chat. Now, what we've been looking at here is the chat channel for our 71st Street project. But we've also built some really cool ways for being able to see all of your project channels together. Now you can see that those are here within the Envoy chat widget like we just looked at, but they're also available in your company communication overview as well.
And this was also a popular request. Even though we were trying to make it convenient and stay out of the way in some cases, Envoy chat following you around the platform is a great idea, but some people really want to focus in and handle all of their communication tasks because it really is a task, something that needs to be accomplished throughout the life of managing a project or managing a company. So we also built a new section inside of the company overviews communication page where you can see all of your company channels. Now this includes not only all of the project channels that have been set up to date, but it also includes a new type of channel that we've set up as well, which really is a custom channel. So this could be a channel for really anything inside of your company. Now we have a few channels that we've set up, one for marketing, for instance, but another channel that would make a ton of sense depending on the type of company you're running. It's something like a sales management channel. This would be great for working with a specific sales team, making sure that everyone's on the same page in terms of different potential projects that you might be trying to land or working through different leads. To that effect, we could either create the sales team channel and include everyone in the company because maybe everyone on the team is technically in sales in some way or some regard. Or when we were setting up this channel, there's also a secondary feature that we can set as well, which is to set the channel as a private channel. This gives us more control over who actually has access to the channel itself.
Yeah, so maybe if we wanted to create a channel for our, production team separate from, sales or office administration, really it could be for anything. But if we want to make a channel, and you can see how easy that is. I can create, several of these and really start to organize my team's communication. But if we want to make one that does not include all of our team members, really we want to narrow it down to a specific group of people. All we would have to do is go ahead and select Make Private here. And then when I create the channel, I'll now have the option to go ahead and add in specific team members. So maybe our production channel needs to be Jordan, a fellow project manager. Maybe I need to add in, some of my site supervision. And that's it. I'm not necessarily adding any other team members. And now we have a private channel that we can work within for our team that doesn't clutter up the communication for the rest of the company.
Yeah, it keeps everyone's attention focused on, a couple of things. First, the nature of the channel, and secondly, it prevents notification blindness or notification overwhelm that people might receive when there are too many channels receiving too many messages all at once. This is a great way to help your team find more success and really help them focus on the tasks and things that are most important to them in their day-to-day. And just like the project channels, whenever we send a message that's going to instantly appear, all of the other functionality is going to work exactly as you would expect, carrying across from the direct messaging to project channel messages to custom and private channels as well. Now, to keep your team focused or to onboard and help new team members learn how you've set up and structured your communication, there's a couple of extra steps that we could recommend at this point. First would be to develop a more like a purpose message or some type of top-level message that you could pin to the top of your channel. For production, for instance, we might want to write out a message about the purpose of the channel and types of messages we expect. Maybe for our sales team, we want to say, hey sales team, this is for communicating about new leads and prospects and for working through potential challenges or barriers to success. I don't know, something like that, right? Maybe not too fluffy. Sales is all about making money, so maybe we want to put, we're here to help you make more money. And then pin it to the top. Either way, it helps set the tone, especially when you're looking ahead and as your company and your team matures and you're really looking ahead towards talent retention and talent acquisition for something like your sales team. You really want to set the stage right, and this can really start to help your company mature just from simple approaches like this. Now, anytime anyone visits this channel, they'll see the pinned message at the top of the channel, no matter how far down they scroll, just to keep an idea of what the channel's all about. Now, this can also be more effective for project channels as well. If you want to go ahead and make sure that an important message is flagged you can either pin the message or star the message. For instance, we might want to pin this status update that, well, the project's going to be shut down until next Tuesday for some reason. I'm surprised no one's asked me why yet, but maybe we'll find out as the day goes on.
The other thing that you can do, of course, is use that star tool. So, here Jordan sent me the schedule. So maybe I want to be able to go back and easily reference this schedule later, or have a quick way to just click into it and view that. So if I go ahead and star that message, then I'll be able to come back when I'm looking through this communication for this project and say, well, show me only those messages that are starred. So that's an easy way for me to flag things that I want to come back to, and access really easily later on, in addition to those pins that are going to live at the top. And you can also filter by those as well.
Now, the starred messages, those are for your starred messages. So you can filter out things that are important to you without necessarily worrying about, filling or cluttering up somebody else's, or having someone else clutter your starred messages. It really helps you prioritize and focus on information that's important to you.
Yeah, it's such a great tool and so easy to use. Now, we have had a wonderful question come in about using direct messages. So one of our attendees just wants to know, how would we send direct messages only to specific people? So this is a good time to step back for a moment and just take a look at Envoy chat from a big picture. So if we need to send a message just to an individual person, really we're going to step out of the channels for that and go into our direct chats mode. So if I wanted to send a message really just to Jordan, it looks like I already have a conversation going with him here. I can send that privately. Maybe privately I want to ask, hey Jordan, what was up with that delay? Or really anything else. So we can come in and have a direct one-to-one conversation with someone. Now, this still has the added benefit of being documented. So again, unlike text messages that Jordan and I might send back and forth throughout the day, those are going to be gone, lost with our phone, accessible only by us on that particular device. Whereas with the Envoy chat, even the direct messages, you can come back and look at those anytime you need to find an important piece of information. We always will have a record of those conversations living within ConstructionOnline. Just like with our project channels, we can pin or star items here. You can also do things like copy or edit messages that you've sent if you need to make a quick correction, or perhaps resend a message to someone. So all sorts of wonderful things that you can do here within those direct messages. And just like the channels, these direct messages are going to come right to your phone as well. So if you are working from the ConstructionOnline mobile app, or maybe a team member who is primarily in the field, those notifications will come through on the phone, ready for your reply there as well. Now, as we make our way towards the end today with Envoy channels, it does look like that several of you have sent over some excellent questions. So we'll go ahead and start going through some of those there. Oh, wonderful. I love those notifications. I have to tell you that as we go through with Envoy chat, one of the things that I really do love is how instant this communication is. I'm getting those notifications. I can respond to that in real time. It just really cuts down on communication delays for teams there. Now, some of the other questions that we are seeing come in, I think maybe this is a really good one, or a good place for you to start. Jordan, I know that you work as head of our customer success team, and really have a chance to work with a lot of new teams or companies as they're getting started with ConstructionOnline on that communication side, and looking at how to improve that. We have a great question here about really, when to use different communication tools. So someone wants to know, when should we be using Envoy versus maybe when should we use the messages that we're also seeing within our projects. And maybe you could touch on the announcements there as well.
Yeah, I think this is a great question because it comes down to, the use cases in a lot of ways. So it's a really common question when companies are getting started, because on the surface, each one of these communication methods seems related to each other, or they seem like there's some overlap. But when you really start teasing apart what each tool is great or what it's the best at, the answer becomes very clear. So we've really dived into Envoy Chat and project channels today. In a lot of ways, this is very analogous to text messaging or group text messages, because while it's usually direct to a smaller group of people, it's usually less formal, and it's designed to be viewed in a very specific time context, right? So typically we'll want the message to send out really quickly or immediately, and be seen quickly or immediately. Now, contrast that with something like an email, which, while you probably want people to view that as soon as possible, it's less urgent and less in your face as something like text messages. This is where the messages function comes into play. There's really a very similar overlap with messages and email, but the advantage here is that, well, one, you don't have to leave ConstructionOnline to compose an email, and two, anyone that replies to the email that you send from messages, it will flow directly back into the platform, which is a huge time saver, and can also store email replies back into the project itself. Contrast that with announcements, which really aren't designed to be replied to at all. Announcements are really like a one-to-many communications tool that send out to whoever you decide needs to be aware of a new update. In this case, it might make more sense for everyone to know that's a part of the project that, well, hey, construction is shut down from now or tomorrow until Tuesday. But our internal team needed to get their bearings together first before we communicated that out to everyone else. So in a lot of cases, the answer to, well, should I use project channels or messages or announcements is going to come down to the context or your use case. Just keep in mind that the function of each is really designed purposefully, and perform a little exploration is what I usually recommend to find out what's going to work the best for different situations for your team, and everyone is going to craft out the best approach for their companies and for their teams. But often, like I said, I'll find something that you typically send a text message about should flow into something like Envoy Chat. Something you would send an email for will typically fall in the case of messages, and anything that just needs to get out to everybody on the project at once is best served with an announcement.
Yeah, that makes complete sense. A couple of the other things that's worth touching on here within the communication area would be your inbound emails and your call log. These are typically used to log communication that is happening outside of ConstructionOnline, but that we still do want to keep that record for. So with inbound emails, each project is automatically, we just create a project email address for each job. So again, this is done for you automatically. There's no special setup, but you can copy this email address and save it into your contacts list in Outlook or Gmail or whatever you use for outside emails there. And then that way, if you receive an email that needs to be a part of this project record, you can just forward it to this email address. It's going to drop it into your inbound emails area, so you do have a record of that communication here. And then of course your call logs are going to be a way for you to document phone calls that you're making or receiving to people on the project team. So if you have a phone call about something important and we just need to document that we spoke to maybe a client today or an owner or an investor or a subcontractor, you can choose the contact that you spoke with here, put in a few quick notes about the conversation that you had, save that, and then now we've created a record of that conversation here as well. So the communication tools that are available in your ConstructionOnline projects are really comprehensive. They are designed to handle, so many different types of use cases, like you mentioned, Jordan, from, the less formal internal communication to forward-facing outside communication. There's just so much that you can do here. Now, it looks like there is another really good question coming in just from someone who wants to know a little bit more about how Envoy Chat works on the app, and just wondering if pictures can be added from the phone to those conversations. And they definitely can. So it's a wonderful a wonderful way for that information to, to be communicated in. If you're using Envoy chat on the phone, you have the option to not only attach pictures maybe from the phone's camera roll, but also to take a picture or attach even a file that is stored in ConstructionOnline. So you have a ton of flexibility when it comes to attachments, and really the same thing here as well with the Envoy chat channel in the project. You can drag and drop photos or files right into your chat area or into your chat within the Envoy widget. Just drag and drop those in. It will upload those attachments, or you can come in and maybe browse for an upload here. So there's all sorts of ways for you to really be able to work with and communicate or share those files within the Envoy chat area.
Yeah, really important note here. While it might be similar to text messaging, there's a huge advantage in this case because there aren't really. Let me rephrase that. There's a much larger file size cap. You can share full videos through Envoy chat. It's a very robust file sharing component within the platform. It makes it really simple and easy to share larger files, which email really struggles to handle. And of course, the secondary benefit there is that you can take that same file that you might have uploaded as a video or something like that and drop that directly back into the project for future use and reference as well. This is a pretty common question. People will ask, well, can we send videos through ConstructionOnline? Because they're a little gun shy, right? Maybe they've tried to send a video through email before and it just says, nope, we can't do that. It's too large, right? That's a huge advantage here inside of ConstructionOnline is that while it looks and feels like some type of messaging program, there's a really powerful engine running behind it, which is the entirety of ConstructionOnline's file management system.
Well, and really the entirety of ConstructionOnline's project management system as well. I really love what you can do here, like what you've done with the schedule, and that works with every feature. So if you are looking at a punch list item, or if you are looking at a plan or a calendar or the estimate, you can really, copy, paste that link, drop it right into your Envoy channel there, and it's going to take the users directly into that feature. So it's, I agree, Jordan, it's kind of, what I love about this is that it's just as easy, if not easier to use than many of the tools that people are used to using for communication, but does actually under the hood sort of have, a lot more power happening, a lot more things, that you can do, especially things that are specific to the construction industry. There's, I think outsiders don't often realize how much information there is to manage, how critical communication can be, how many moving parts, you guys and your teams are having to keep up with every day. And so this just makes that so much easier.
Yeah, and one last thing to know, this might be a benefit of using Envoy chat that goes without saying, but I feel like I have to say it because it's something that people don't really consider. The less tools your team has to use to stay up to date about a project, the more efficient your team is going to become as a whole. If you can pull together not only the tracking and project management tools, but also the communication tools in one place, your team is going to see a disproportionate efficiency boost across the board because they're not needing to switch from ConstructionOnline, the app, to text messaging, the app, to their camera, the app, to, pick some type of punch list management app here because there's 500,000 of them app. Right? All of these switches throughout the day and throughout the weeks are a surprising dent in the productivity of each person on the team. And we've seen time and again as companies begin to expand and roll out the use of ConstructionOnline across the board, the efficiencies really kick in and begin to add up across time.
They do. So that's, if you guys, as you're hearing that wonderful piece of feedback from Jordan here, if you're thinking about new ways or new ideas that you could use ConstructionOnline day to day, do remember that we are here and available for one-on-one consultation or training. We love to work with you guys directly, so please feel free to reach out. You can give us a call here at 800-700-8321. Either Jordan or myself or any of our product specialist colleagues here would be happy to work with you on new and exciting ways to use ConstructionOnline to really boost the profitability and productivity of your team and your projects. Now, speaking of opportunities to learn more. Let's take a look at some of the upcoming sessions that we have. I'm really excited about some of the workshops that we have planned over the next few weeks. We have listened to your feedback and really put together some workshops and classes focusing around some core fundamentals on the project management side that are really going to hone in on that profitability and productivity of your team. So next week on Thursday, so this same time, we are going to go through 5 tips to help you save a minimum of 5 hours per week by using QuickBooks Online integration in ConstructionOnline. The week after that, we'll be taking a look at Redline Plan Room, the single source of truth for dynamic collaboration on your projects. I've talked to so many people, even just within the last couple of weeks, who have just seen so much benefit from using Redline, especially making sure that their team always has access to the most current set of plans. It solves a real problem for you in a very easy way. So I'm excited to host a workshop or class on how to get that set up for your team.
Yeah, it's kind of funny how much of a challenge that can be and how simple of a solution it is that we've developed, and really excited to show some of the different tools and ways that teams are using Redline to keep up to date and to communicate about changes and revisions, and really to make sure that they don't run into the unfortunate situation of rework from building off the wrong plan set. How is that possible in 2020? Moving ahead from that, speaking of rework and preventing unfortunate situations, we'll be looking into how ConstructionOnline can help streamline your submittals and maximize accuracy on your projects. We have a really powerful and robust set of tools for submittals that is, I can't tell you how easy it is to use. I've worked with different design teams. I've worked with different companies who have started using ConstructionOnline just for our submittal management process because it is very straightforward, easy to use, and understandable for everyone involved in the process, not just your internal team, but external users as well.
That's right. And we've made some really exciting enhancements to submittals. So if that's something that you and your team are dealing with, you won't want to miss that session. As we move into August, we will have a roundup for what's new for summer 2020, where we'll show you guys some of the new things we've been working on for you with improvements to file sharing, imports for checklists, exports for change orders, messages for your leads, and so much more. So that will be another great session to attend, and we'll wrap up this series with some tips on how to estimate like an expert, really hone in on the estimating process and really how to get more accurate financials on your projects. So I hope that you are able to join at least some, if not all, of these upcoming classes. We love having you here for those. We also always love to hear from you about things that you would like to see. So again, feel free to reach out to us with those workshop suggestions because we love to hear them. For today, though, I think that does wrap us up for looking at Envoy chat channels and other ways to improve your team's communication. We've enjoyed having you here. I hope this session has been useful and idea inspiring for you. But until next time, hope you guys have a great rest of your afternoon.
Yeah, thank you all so much. We very much appreciate your time, and we hope to see you here next week.